and our counterparts from elsewhere. We welcome to this press briefing, which was compelled by the urgent need for us to clarify some developments arising from our counter-terrorism operations in the country. The Nigerian military welcomes the interest that is being shown by international bodies and civil society organizations in our efforts to observe human rights in all aspects of the ongoing operations nationwide. Despite the highly challenging and peculiar nature of the variables in the operations, the importance of the accountability for all our actions has remained very paramount in our mind. The Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is conscious of the nation's obligation to observe all rules, regulations, and commitments in all our activities. The wishes in our heart this moment is to reassure the international community, all bodies and citizens, that the armed forces will not encourage or condone any form of violation of the rights of citizens. It is equally expedient for us to particularly address the recent allegation of gross abuse of human rights that have been leveled against the Nigerian military by the Amnesty International and those who are circulating video footage purportedly showing Nigerian military as carrying out extrajudicial killing of suspected terrorists. For the sake of record, we must unequivocally state that the Nigerian military takes the issue of human rights seriously and will never condone any proven case of abuse by personnel or anyone who is an ally. And therefore, military authorities is deeply concerned about the set of video footages that is being circulated, and which unfortunately has come into the hands of the Amnesty International and is being referred to as the data in its report. Much of the scenes in these videos depict the activities that are definitely alien to our operations and the doctrines of the Nigerian Armed Forces. They have to be investigated for us to ensure that such practices have not crept in surreptitiously to the detriment of expectations in line with best practices to which the nation's military has committed itself. And therefore, the Defense Headquarters considers these allegations too grievous to be associated with the Nigerian troops, considering the doctrinal content and the operational drive of the training that have been imparted to personnel on a continuous basis. All of these have always emphasized the importance of respect for human rights and the dignity of the human person, as well as the observance of humanitarian laws. Rather, the scenes that were depicted in that video clearly depict or indicate the pattern that is consistent with the atrocious activities and operations of terrorists in Nigeria and elsewhere. Notwithstanding the cases of impersonation that has pervaded the counter-terrorism operations in Nigeria and many other related issues which cast doubt on the claims that are made in that video, the Defense Headquarters views those grave allegations with seriousness, more so as it borders on the integrity of the ongoing counter-terrorism operation, which must be sustained in the interest of our national survival. Consequently, the Defense Headquarters is expanding the scope of the already existing Joint Investigation Team to include these allegations, and in this regard, a team of officers and legal as well as forensic experts have been inaugurated to study the video and the resulting allegations of infractions in order for us to ascertain the veracity of this video with a view to identifying the people behind such heinous acts. This will further determine and stimulate necessary legal actions that will be taken for us to facilitate the position of the law on such infractions. You will recall that a joint investigation team was earlier constituted on previous allegations of human rights abuse. The joint investigation team is still in place and has regularly conducted visits to detention facilities. At the moment, it is on tour of some of such facilities across the country. A list has been regularly forwarded to the higher authorities and for the attention of the Ministry of Justice. That is cases that require prosecution. Also at the moment, an additional list is being compiled to facilitate the congestion of facilities and to ensure the due legal processes. These attempts at protecting the rights of detained terror suspects categorically point to the fact that as a professional institution with thoroughbred officers and men, the Nigerian military cannot be party to such degree of savagery as portrayed in that video footage that is now available to the Amnesty International. The Nigerian military has, over the years, demonstrated a pedigree that is devoid of such acts in several of our operational theaters, both within and outside the country. There is no reason why at this moment we should change that approach at this stage of our national life. And without missing words, the Nigerian forces cannot condone any action or inaction that tramples on the right to life of any Nigerian citizen. The ultimate objective of Nigerian counter-terrorism operation is the complete cessation of the heinous and barbaric activities of terrorists and to stamp out every vestige of terrorism in our country with the application of the international best practices in all our operations. It will therefore be absurd for the Nigerian Armed Forces as an institution to perpetrate such unprofessional acts in manner as it is leveled in those videos depicting the alleged abuse of human rights shown by the video available to the Amnesty International. Respect for the sanctity of life is always boldly emphasized in all our doctrinal trainings. And indeed, that level of barbarism and impunity has no place in the Nigerian military. It must thus be reiterated that the Nigerian military is a well-organized professional body of troops whose conduct in war and peace times are guided comprehensively by the law. We want to assure Nigerians and indeed the international community that the Nigerian Armed Forces recognizes the concern of the Amnesty International as well as other similar bodies and therefore remains committed to the observance of the rules of engagement and the human rights in all aspects of our counter-terrorism operations. Thank you for your attention. Good morning. Anyway.